what I be trying to explain to them is like, if you and him beefing, if it ain't no blood spilled, or ain't died about it, it's really nothing.
That was Lil Durk reacting to Lil Jeff's death. Back then, it didn't get much attention, but now, with rumors going around that he may have been involved, that reaction is starting to sound more like a confession, especially since Lil Jeff was in a serious beef with one of Durk's own artists.
Another thing that's been going viral, you dissed Bloodhound Lil Jeff in the song.
The details about Lil Durk's possible involvement are crazy, and what we've uncovered might completely change how you see this whole situation. When keeping it real goes wrong, it seems like Durk just can't catch a break. He's already facing murder for hire charges, and now his name is being brought up in connection to Lil Jeff's death. But to really understand Durk's reaction, you need to know why he's being mentioned at all. It all goes back to a beef between Lil Jeff's close friend Lil Scoom and Durk's artist YFG Fatso. The whole thing started over something simple, like accusations of someone stealing rap lyrics. YFG Fatso, who was making waves in Chicago's drill scene, got into it with Lil Scoom, who was tight with the late Lil Jeff. According to Fatso, this whole deadly mess started over something dumb, just lyrics. But in the streets, it's not about how the beef starts, it's about who survives in the end. The drama revolved around two songs, Scoom's Nightcrawler and Fatso's Princeton Freestyle. Scoom claimed Fatso stole his flow in a few bars, but Fatso wasn't going to let that slide. In an interview that later felt like a warning, Fatso broke down the whole timeline and showed just how twisted the situation really was. Wasp.
I've been made that song like a year before I dropped it. All the songs that's viral and all the songs I got on my YouTube, I just started dropping new songs. All the other old as hell. Like, I got hella songs. I got a big ass catalog for. But I'm telling you, like, gang, I've been had this song before you.
But here's where it gets real spicy. Fatso flipped the whole script and claimed that Scoo was actually the one stealing bars.
I know you took my lyrics, bro. Your homie was just on the phone with me and told me that you be in the crib listening to my music. He like, yeah, we with you, bro.
So now the one pointing fingers was getting exposed as the real thief. That's that street karma right there. Calling someone out for the same thing you've been doing yourself. What made it even more tragic is that Fatso and Lil Jeff actually had history. They weren't always enemies. They used to hang out. That makes what happened next even more cold-blooded. Fatso even talked about their past connection during a live stream.
You want to be technical? Shit, me and Jeff used to kick it. If you want to be technical, me and Jeff used to kick it.
But when it came time to choose sides, Jeff stuck with his day one Scoom instead of staying neutral or trying to squash the beef. That choice turned out to be the biggest mistake of his young life, because he was now beefing with someone who had real connections and wasn't playing about his respect. YFG Fatso wasn't like the others. While Scoom and Jeff were chasing clout and trying to go viral, Fatso carried himself differently. He had real street credibility and didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Instead of jumping straight into violence, he tried to let the situation go.
I ain't the who mad about lyrics. That ain't nothing for real. I got real life situations going on, so I ain't finna really argue with you about no lyrics. That's why I never had really paid attention.
But Scoom and Jeff weren't trying to be mature about it. They were focused on getting as much street cred and social media clout from the beef as possible. They kept going live on Instagram, talking wild, posting on TikTok, doing everything they could to keep the drama alive.
But the niggas was chasing it, like, stay seeing it, get on live and shit. Like, you know, you can go to TikTok and see it. They on live.
The streets were watching everything unfold, and the real ones could see exactly what was going on. Social media comments told the whole story. People saw the clout chasing for what it was. One person said it best: "In my opinion, Scoom and Bloodhound were just looking for reasons to start beef so they could get their names out there." Another called it a small beef over maybe some stolen lyrics. But everything changed when Fatso and Scoom unexpectedly ran into each other while visiting family in county jail. That was the real test, because it's one thing to talk online, but when you come face to face with someone you've been dissing, that's when you find out who's really about that life.
I didn't consider him an op at first in jail. I don't know who the he is. Before that, I didn't consider him
What happened during that jail visit said everything about Scoom's character. When it was time to back up all the tough talk, he completely folded. No smoke, no confrontation, just fake small talk with his mom to avoid the situation. That's when Fatso realized the beef wasn't real street drama, just internet clout chasing. Even after Scoom backed down in person, Jeff and his crew kept the disrespect going. Online talking wild, dropping diss tracks, doing whatever they could to keep the beef going for attention. Fatso, showing real street maturity, tried to end it the right way. He reached out directly to squash the beef like a grown man.
Then I get out of jail. The niggas just they always going on Instagram. And mind you, before I had these niggas numbers.
That "leave it in the trenches" comment showed Fatso understood street politics way better than these younger guys. He knew that taking beef to the internet was dangerous. It brings attention from the police, rival gangs, and most importantly, people with real power who can turn online drama into real-life consequences. But Jeff and Scoom were too focused on clout to listen. They kept pushing, kept disrespecting, and didn't realize they were about to cross a line that would change everything. What they didn't know was that the person they were targeting was about to become untouchable, protected by one of the most feared organizations in Chicago's music industry. While they were busy chasing likes and views, YFG Fatso was making real moves. He was leveling up from just another drill rapper to someone backed by a crew that doesn't play when it comes to respect. The internet tough guys were about to learn there's a big difference between viral beef and street beef, and that lesson would cost them everything. It wasn't just about lyrics anymore, it was about organizational respect. When real money and real power get involved, the rules change fast. What started as a game turned into something deadly serious, where the consequences aren't measured in views, they're measured in body bags. April 2024 was when everything changed. That's when Lil Durk announced that YFG Fatso had officially signed to Only the Family. That one post turned Fatso from an independent rapper into a protected member of one of Chicago's most feared groups. And signing with OTF isn't just a record deal, it's a message. It means you've got people behind you who are ready to slide for real. The moment Fatso joined OTF, anyone who had disrespected him instantly became a target. Once Fatso signed to OTF, anyone beefing with him was no longer just going at one rapper, they were now beefing with a whole organization, one that has the money, shooters, and connections to make problems disappear for good. In Chicago's drill scene, OTF sits at the top of the food chain. They didn't get there by letting disrespect slide. Jeff and Scoom didn't understand the weight of that move. They kept clout chasing, kept talking reckless, not realizing they had just gone from beefing with an up-and-coming rapper to disrespecting one of the most feared crews in the city. That's the difference between people who understand street politics and those who treat everything like internet drama. The fatal mistake came in late May 2024 when Jeff went live on Instagram and played an unreleased diss track from Scoom aimed at YFG Fatso. That wasn't just a diss, it was a direct shot at OTF's reputation. Jeff basically told the world he didn't respect Durk's new artist, which also meant he didn't respect Durk himself. In the organized street world that OTF operates, in public disrespect like that demands a response. Fast. If they let it slide, they'd look weak to their enemies. To really understand how serious that move was, you have to know how OTF handles business. This wasn't your average rap beef where people just trade disses online. Lil Durk has built a name as someone who actually rides for his people. And the federal charges he's facing now show just how far he's willing to go. Durk once said it himself, it's not real beef until blood is spilled. And after Jeff's Instagram live, the clock started ticking.
Situation that happened
Listen, man,
with Quando.
How we live and how we go by our shit. And I'm speaking for the whole Chicago. You ain't there, shut the fuck up. You want that.
Right now, Lil Durk is behind bars, and according to federal court documents, it's because he allegedly started planning Quando Rondo's murder just days after King Von was killed. This wasn't an emotional out, it was a calculated move. The feds say Durk offered a bounty for anyone willing to take out Quando. His cousin DeAndre Wilson even promised music deals to people who helped make it happen. Quando was eventually tracked to a hotel in LA, and they didn't send random shooterists. They sent a full team equipped with professional gear and a tight plan. Quando survived, but his cousin Lil Pab was killed. That alone shows how far they were willing to go for revenge, even if it meant missing the main target. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The feds have been building a much bigger case. Take the killing of Stefan Max, for example. 2 years after Durk's brother Dethang was murdered, federal agents charged Preston Powell, aka JB Marley, and Anthony Montgomery Wilson, aka AJA, in a murder for hire plot tied to Mac's death. The evidence is serious. Text messages between AJ and JB Marley mention Durk paying them. In one message, AJ even asked, "Did Durk give you that money?" That's not street beef, that's organized crime. What's even crazier, AJ was spotted at Durk's AH video shoot less than a month after Mac's death. That means alleged hitmen were mixing with the music industry like it was all one team. And it doesn't stop there. In the FBG Duck case, people thought King Von put the hit out after Duck dissed T-Roy, but according to FBG Butter, it was really Durk pulling the strings. He was allegedly planning to fly the shooters out on a private jet before they were caught. Von got the credit, but Durk was reportedly behind it all. This is the kind of machine Jeff and Scoon were messing with when they dissed YFG Fatso. They thought it was just rap beef, but they were facing a crew with real money, professional killers, and a history of fast retaliation. And what happened next proves it. Just 2 weeks after Jeff disrespected Fatso on Instagram Live, he was dead. That's not a coincidence. That's how real organizations move when they feel disrespected. On June 8, 2024, Jeff made a fatal mistake. He pulled up to the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue with Q50 and another shooter. Thinking they were about to catch their ops slipping, Jeff jumped out first and opened fire. His target ran and tried to hide behind a car before making a dash into a nearby house. Jeff chased him, still shooting, thinking he had the upper hand. But what Jeff didn't know was that it was a setup. The people inside were ready. They had better weapons, better positions, and were waiting for him. As Jeff ran up the porch, return fire lit him up. He didn't even make it to the door. He was shot off the steps and dropped to the ground. But they didn't stop there. Reports say they emptied a full magazine into him from above. Q50 and the other shooter tried to fire back, but they were outgunned. Once they saw Jeff was gone, they ran. They left his body there and escaped before becoming the next targets. When police arrived, the scene told the whole story. 58 shell casings scattered across the street, and Jeff shot 19 times. That wasn't random. It was precise, organized, and deadly. While there's no official link to OTF or Fatso, the speed, planning, and intensity say everything. The exact shooters who took out Jeff haven't been confirmed, but everything about the way it went down matches the way this crew has handled disrespect before. The quick response, the overwhelming firepower, and the clear message. It's all straight out of their playbook. Jeff's murder wasn't just revenge. It sent a warning to the streets. It showed that even small disrespect, like accusing someone of stealing lyrics, can get you killed. It proved that this group doesn't just protect its stars, they ride for new signees too. And it reminded everyone that when they make threats in music, they follow through in real life. Jeff found out the hard way. There's a big difference between rap beef and real consequences. When you disrespect people who have the money, the manpower, and the mindset to turn words into violence, it's not just music anymore, it's war. And Jeff's death, that was just the start. What happened next showed this wasn't random street drama or a moment of rage. It was a calculated takedown. Once they decide to clean house, they don't stop with one target. They eliminate anyone tied to the disrespect. Their history shows how deep it goes. From using women to backdoor enemies to paying off gangs to carry out hits, Durk and his crew have been running these kinds of operations for years. This isn't amateur street beef. It's organized, well-funded, and strategically planned violence meant to control the streets through fear. Take the case of FBG Cash. He made the fatal mistake of mocking King Von's death posing next to Von's mural, flipping off the camera and posting the pic with the caption, "Whole world witnessed yo main sniper get his splack." That level of disrespect guaranteed consequences, and Durk responded the way only someone who thinks strategically about revenge would. Instead of clapping back online, he studied his target and waited. In March, Durk posted a chilling warning on his IG story. "Don't diss the dead if you be lingering and chasing won't end well." That post became reality. On June 9, 2022, FBG Cash was in a car with a woman when they got blocked at a stop sign. 3 shooters jumped out and opened fire. Cash died in the shootout, and word on the street, the woman with him set him up. Just like Durk's warning predicted, that's not a coincidence. That's tactical planning. The same thing happened to FBG Duck. After he dissed a fallen OTF member, the response came fast. In broad daylight on one of the busiest streets in Chicago, gunmen jumped out and lit him up. It wasn't just a killing, it was a statement. Disrespect our dead, and you'll join them. So when Jeff went on Instagram Live and played that unreleased diss track aimed at Fatso, his fate was basically sealed. But the message didn't stop there. Just 1 month after Jeff was gunned down, his right-hand man, Lil Scoom, who started the beef in the first place, was also killed. Scoom's death followed the same chilling pattern. On July 7th, just weeks after Jeff was killed, Scoom was gunned down in Chicago's Chatham neighborhood at 89th Place and Langley Avenue. Around 11:50 p.m., Scoom and his 16-year-old homie got into an argument that quickly turned violent. Gunshots rang out, Scoom was hit multiple times and died after being rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center. His young friend was also shot but survived. But it's what happened next that really raised eyebrows. As police responded to the scene, they spotted a suspect trying to run. That led to a foot chase, and then gunfire aimed at the officers. CPD brought in SWAT and multiple district units in a massive response. Still, the shooter managed to escape. That kind of getaway takes either extreme desperation or extreme confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from believing you're backed by serious power. The message was now undeniable. This wasn't random street violence, it was a coordinated cleanup. First Jeff, then Scoom, both gone within a month. The crew behind this wasn't just settling scores, they were erasing threats, fast, quietly, and completely. When you go to war with this organization, they don't just come for youthy, come for your whole circle. And that approach serves a purpose. It shows just how far their reach goes. It reminds the streets that they move efficiently, and they don't bluff, they act. And in doing so, they build fear, respect, and control over Chicago's drill scene. Other rappers were watching, the streets were watching, and the message was loud and clear. One wrong move could cost you everything. What started over something as minor as a lyrics dispute turned into a deadly chain reaction. It shows how, in today's world where beef plays out on Instagram Live and TikTok, disrespect spreads fast. And to maintain their image, crews like F have to respond just as fast, and 10 times harder. Jeff, going live with that diss track, that wasn't just trash talk, it forced F to make a move. If they didn't, they'd look weak to their entire following. This is where the internet fuels the violence. Social media has made reputation management a deadly game. And while federal charges have exposed some of Durk's operations, those are only the cases with enough evidence to make it to court. The deaths of Jeff and Scoom show that many more hits may have happened quietly, with no witnesses, no charges, and no trails. F doesn't do drawn-out, worsty-end problems fast and permanently. That's not just gang activity, that's strategy. The way F handled Jeff and Scoom shows this isn't just street-level retaliation. It's organized, calculated, and way more advanced than what most crews are capable of. As federal investigators dig deeper into F's alleged criminal operations, the message becomes even clearer. In Chicago's drill scene, disrespect can cost you your life. What started as internet beef over stolen lyrics turned into another chapter in F's long record of using violence to protect their name and power. These events didn't just silence two people. They sent shockwaves through the entire Chicago hip-hop scene. Rappers, producers, and crew members now think twice about what they say, who they diss, and who they align with, because the price of disrespecting F has been clearly set, and it's paid in blood. Jeff and Scoom found out too late, but their deaths left a lasting warning to anyone else thinking about crossing the line. In this world, F sits at the top of the food chain, and they didn't get there by letting things slide. Whether it's over lyrics, social media drama, or dissing the dead, F's response is always the same: fast, deadly, and final. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the other videos on screen now.